Oops. Hi, everyone. Happy Monday. Hope you had a good winter break. I apologize I'm not with you today. I actually had just a normal doctor's appointment already scheduled for today, which is why I'm not with you, but I will be back tomorrow. If you haven't done so, let's take a minute, make sure we're turning in our winter break work. So please go ahead and turn in the math assignment, which is due right now. And hopefully you already turned in that ed puzzle and the sustainable gift. So go ahead and let's pause the video. Pause the video real quick and get you to turn that in, and then we'll get started. Okay, so you've turned in your work. Amazing, awesome. Hopefully everyone is feeling healthy. Hopefully you saw my message yesterday. If you are not feeling like even just a little sore throat or anything, please stay home. Please stay home. Think about, everyone in class. Think about yourself. I don't want anyone getting sick, so please stay home. Otherwise, I will be making my best attempt to record our daily classes. So if you are out, that you can keep track. Remember, on Schoology, so I'm just on Schoology, you have access to the daily agenda and homework calendar, which I update every day. I'm going to tell you I haven't updated today because today hasn't happened yet. This is Sunday night. I've done this recording now 3 times, so I'm not very pleased right now. But when you look at it, hopefully tomorrow, it will say something other than just Power of the Pyramids. So check that every day. And then on days like today where I have multiple documents, I will try to post a page like what you see right here, and it will show everything that you need for the day. So like, for example, eventually I will get the video posted that I'm recording right now. Actually, it's going to be multiple because I'm going to have to split this up. For some reason, it doesn't want me to record very long. And then everything else is linked there too. Okay, so make sure you're checking if you are going to be out for whatever reason. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So you've turned in your assignments. Let us get back into chapter 8. So as I had mentioned previously, that you were going to have math when you came back, and that's what's going to start us off is the math. Okay, so if you don't have it out yet, please get out a paper and pen or pencil. Your notebook is fine. And then you need a calculator. You can use your cell phone for this. That's fine. And I am going to let you use the equations. However, I am going to take them away starting tomorrow. So if you can do it without the equations, amazing. If you still need them, you can go ahead. Okay, so while you're getting that out, I'm going to talk about the questions. Again, these are the same style questions. I just changed the country. This time I chose Madagascar. So if you could do them before, you can definitely still do them now. So question 1, it says, in 2021, approximately 891,750 babies were born and 160,000 people died in Madagascar. So if there are 28.5 million people, what's the crude birth rate and the crude death rate? And if you've forgotten how to do that, you can see the equations right there. You're going to tell me what's the actual growth rate of Madagascar's population in 2021. And again, if you're unsure, there's the equation right there. How many years will it take for Madagascar's population to double? This is the one I didn't give it to you for because hopefully you have this one memorized already. It's super simple. And then the one that gave us some trouble last time, how long will it take Madagascar to reach approximately 456 million people? Okay, so pause the video in just a second, and you have 8 minutes. So whoever's in charge of stopping and starting, if you could please set an 8-minute timer, maybe on a cell phone, and then press play again. Let me move my face so you can see everything. Please make sure to round to 2 decimals. Oops, doesn't want me to be out of the picture, so I'll put myself all the way over here. You want to round to 2 decimals and show all your work. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video, solve the problems. All right, perfect. Let's go ahead and go over these. Starting with the first question, let me move myself over here. So the question was, right, what's the crude birth rate? And I told you, right, the number of babies born. I also told you the population total. You're just going to plug and play, right? So crude birth rate is just the number of babies born per 1,000 people. So you divide the total births by the population and multiply by 1,000. And that should give you a crude birth rate if you round to 2 decimals of 31.29. Perfect. Same idea for crude death rate, except said birth rate. Or number of births, you're looking at the number of deaths, so just same idea, which tells us the crude death rate is 5.61. Hopefully you notice there's a big difference between birth and death rates, which is going to have a big impact on our growth rate. So growth rate is the accrued birth rate minus the accrued death rate divided by 10. So just plug and play those numbers you just got. So what's our growth rate? Again, I rounded. So it's about 2.57%. Don't forget that percent sign. Remember, you got to include units. And then doubling time. This is the one that you got to know off the top of your head, the rule of 70. So to find doubling time, take 70, divide it by our growth rate, which in this case is 2.57. And that gives us a doubling time of, don't forget the unit, 27.24 years. So about 27.25 years. Now, assuming that you were paying attention before we left for winter break, hopefully you remember how to do this problem. If not, let's go over it. So, and I keep meaning to change this, even this is the third time I've done this video and said this. So it should be 28.5 million. That's how many people we have in Madagascar on. This is the best of our ability to tell right now. Okay, so when we look at growth, we look at doubling time. Okay, so we know that the population doubles, in this case, every 27.25 years. So one doubling time, right? Population doubles to 57, and that takes 27.25 years. But remember, nothing changes. Everything stays constant. So that number doubles again. That takes another 27.25 years. And the population doubles again, and that takes 27.25 years. And then it doubles again, and it takes 27.25 years until we've gone through 4 doubling times. We add up the doubling times, 27.4 multiplied by 4, and that tells us it takes around 109 years for it to reach that amount. Sorry. Okay, so hopefully not too bad. We will continue to practice this. If you can do these 4 problems, you should feel pretty comfortable. Okay. All right. So let's get back into chapter 8. We spent all that time last week and hopefully you watched the Don't Panic. And we understand a little bit more about populations growing and shrinking, but we want to know how we can predict growth and shrinking by using what's known as an age structure diagram. So this is all from chapter 8.3. Looking at age structure diagrams. So I'm going to start with a quick little video. This is from TED Ed. After this video, who's ever in charge, you're going to have to switch videos because for some reason it doesn't want me to make a longer video. So we'll play this and then you'll move to the second video. So let's watch about population pyramids. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn off my webcam so that you can just see the video.
Russia, with the largest territory in the world, has roughly the same total population as Nigeria, a country 1/16 its size. But this similarity won't last long. One of the populations is rapidly growing, while the other is slowly declining. What can this tell us about the two countries? Population statistics are some of the most important data social scientists and policy experts have to work with. But understanding a country's situation and making accurate predictions requires knowing not just the total size of the population, but its internal characteristics, such as age and gender distribution. So how can we keep track of all that data in a way that makes it easy to comprehend? Complex data is more easily interpreted through visualization, and one of the ways that demographers represent the internal distribution of a population is the population pyramid. Here, the data is divided by gender, with females on one side and males on the other. The population numbers are shown for each 5-year age interval, starting from 0 to 4 and continuing up to 100 and up. These intervals are grouped together into pre-reproductive, 0 to 14, reproductive, 15 to 44, and post-reproductive years, 45 and up. Such a population pyramid can be a powerful predictor of future population trends. For example, Rwanda's population pyramid shows it to be a fast-growing country. With most of the population being in the youngest age groups at the bottom of the pyramid, the number will grow rapidly in the coming years. As today's children reach their reproductive years and have children of their own, the total population is almost certain to double within the next few decades. For our second example, let's look at Canada, where most of the population is clustered around the middle of the graph. Because there are less people in the pre-reproductive age groups than there are in the reproductive ones, the population will grow more slowly as the number of people reaching their reproductive years decreases. Finally, let's look at Japan. Because the majority of its population is in its post-reproductive years, and the number of people is smaller at each younger interval, this means that at current rates of reproduction, the population will begin to decline as fewer and fewer people reach reproductive age. Comparing these three population pyramids side by side shows us three different stages in the demographic transition as a country moves from a pre-industrial society to one with an industrial or post-industrial economy. Countries that have only recently begun the process of industrialization typically see an increase in life expectancy and a fall in child mortality rates as a result of improvements in medicine, sanitation, and food supply, while birth rates remain constant, leading to a population boom. Developing countries that are farther along in the industrialization process begin to see a fall in birth rates due to factors such as increased education and opportunities for women outside of childrearing, and a move from rural to urban living that makes having large families less economically advantageous. Finally, countries in advanced stages of industrialization reach a point where both birth and death rates are low, and the population remains stable or even begins to decline. Now let's take a look at the projected population pyramids for the same three countries in 2050. What do these tell us about the expected changes in each country's population? And what kinds of factors can alter the shape of these future pyramids? A population pyramid can be useful not only as a predictor of a country's future, but as a record of its past. Russia's population pyramid still bears the scars of World War II, which explains both the fewer numbers of elderly men compared to elderly women and the relatively sudden population increase as soldiers returned from the war and normal life resumed. China's population pyramid reflects the establishment of the one-child policy 35 years before, which prevented a population boom such as that of Rwanda, but also led to sex-selective abortions, resulting in more male children than female children. Finally, the pyramid for the United States shows the baby boom that followed World War II. As you can see, population pyramids tell us far more about a country than just a set of numbers, by showing both where it's been and where it's headed within a single image. And in today's increasingly interconnected world facing issues such as food shortages, ecological threats, and economic disparities, it is increasingly important for both scientists and policymakers to have a rich and complex understanding of populations and the factors affecting them.
All right, so we're going to switch over videos. So who's ever in charge, go ahead and move to video part 2.